So hi, hello, and welcome to Ranko Space. The first lecture that we're going to be dealing with is about the Indian Contract Act of 1872. Okay, Indian Contract Act of 1872. The first unit is nothing but contract of indemnity and contract of guarantee. Okay, so in the foundation level, you would have already studied or come across the Indian Contract Act, where the major portion of it would have been covered in the basics of the Indian Contract Act would have already been covered in your foundation level, right? Foundation level, right? My handwriting is so bad. It's because of the stylus. Just forgive me on that. Okay. So that is how it is. Yeah. So at the intermediate level, we'll be covering the other units. That is nothing but indemnity and guarantee, bailment and pledge. And the last unit is nothing but agency. Okay. Agency. You have the agent, principal agent, right? So what is the relationship in law, in the particular law perspective? What is the agency? Is what we're going to study in detail. I have certain reference charts and all of that for that. So the method in which we will be studying and we'll be following is that, see, first we will read the text. Text is of great importance because the language is of greater importance. That is why text is what we'll read first, and then we will go about interpreting the provisions. Okay, interpreting the provisions plus examples. That's how we'll be going about. Okay, so let's start. Oh, let's go about it. So this is the Indian Contract Act of 1872, 1872 dot 1875 or some other type of your own assumption. It is 1872. Okay. Then the contract of indemnity and the contract of guarantee is what we're going to be reading. Okay. Let's start. Okay. The first part of the lesson talks about different other topics. Okay. The first part of the lesson, that is indemnity and guarantee, has five different types of six different parts. First is contract of indemnity, contract of guarantee, then you have the surety, nature of the surety is liability, then the continuing guarantee, discharge of surety, and then you have the rights of surety. Okay, so this is the six different parts of your first unit. Okay, so we are supposed to cover it in an hour or so. I think it will be enough for us to cover. Okay, so let's start. Okay, I think that I can delete all of this. Okay, let's start. Okay, so the first thing is adding one introduction. So introduction just talks about the general perspectives of the law. It says like basically this particular what okay, let me ask you an interesting question. What is a contract? You would have definitely read it in your foundation level. What is a contract? Okay, let's not waste time. I'll just tell you the answer. So contract is nothing but anything that is enforceable by law. So any type of an agreement, any type of an agreement that is enforceable by law becomes your contract. Agreement that is enforceable by law becomes a contract. If in case agreements which are not enforceable by law, they are called as social agreements. It cannot even become, if in case it's not enforceable by law, it cannot even become a contract. It can just be a social agreement. Okay, this is the basic, very basic. Okay, let's move on. Okay, okay. I'll take the highlighter. Green, I like green. Okay. So, what are we studying about? So that is what the section numbers are very important. See, the contract indemnity, it starts with section 124 to section 125, and it ends with section 140 to section 147. Okay. So let's start. Okay, fast. Okay. So what is a contract of indemnity? So indemnity, I'm going to give you a beautiful example. So first we'll read the text. That is how we have agreed upon, right? So we'll read the text. Okay. The term indemnity literally means the security against a loss, or to make good a loss, or to compensate a party for the loss, some loss that has been already suffered. See, there are three parts: past, present, and future. Right? There's past, there's present, and future. There's a past, there's present, and there is a future. Right? Past, present, and future. So, if a person has already suffered a loss, if in case a person has already suffered past, as a person has already suffered a loss, or present, if in case a person is going to suffer a loss and you provide a security for that, that is also a contract of indemnity. And future, if in case any type of loss or damage that might be incurred or that might be have borne by him, that will be borne by him in somewhere in the future, that will also be secured by your contract of indemnity. That is what they're trying to say. Okay, let's move on. So okay, so very difficult. So but the term contract of indemnity can be defined under section 124 of the Indian Contract Act. Okay, section 120 4 of your Indian Contract Act. Okay, so it is a contract by which one party promises to save another. Okay, it is a contract. It's a contract, or you can say it's a contract. Contract of indemnity is a contract where one person promises to pay another. Where one person promises to pay another. Okay, there is let's take an example. Okay, let's take an example. There is one person called as A, and there is another person called as B. So A has a house, and this A, I'm sorry, B has a house and A has a tree. Okay, so what if this particular A, what he says is, he goes to B and he says that, see B, I promise you, I promise you that I will save you from any loss that you will be suffering if in case my tree falls on your house. And if this particular house is going to be damaged, if in case this particular house is going to be damaged, and because you have borne a particular damage that is caused by my conduct, I will compensate you, I will save you, I will indemnify you the loss that you're going to face in respect of this particular damage done to your house because of my tree falling on your house. Okay, so this is simple concept of your contract of indemnity. See, what is a contract of indemnity? Contract of indemnity can be defined as a contract where one person promises to indemnify or save another from the loss that is being suffered by another caused due to the conduct of the indemnifier, which is Mr. A, the promiser. Okay, the promiser is also known as the indemnifier. Okay, which is the loss that has been caused by the conduct of the indemnifier or by any other third person. Any other third person. This is just an example in respect of your indemnifier. But if in case there is any other person who's doing something to this particular house. Okay, and A is telling that, okay, don't worry, if in case anything happens to this particular house, don't worry, if somebody does to this damages this particular house, don't worry, I will indemnify the loss that you'll be facing as a result of this particular destruction. Okay, simple, very simple concept. Okay, this is the baseline on which this particular contract of indemnity is being carried forward. Okay, so that is the definition that has been given under the act, whatever I've told. A contract by which the parties promises to save another um, from the loss that has been caused by him or the conduct of the promiser himself or by the conduct of any other person. Okay, or by the conduct of any other person. Okay, by the conduct of any other person. If you had followed the example that I've given, it's very easy to understand this particular um, definition. Okay, so either any loss that has been caused or any damage that has been caused as a result of a conduct of whom, conduct of the promiser or the third person, then in such a case I will indemnify you is what is being promised here. So let's take an example. Okay, Mr. X contracts with the government to return to India after completing his studies at the University of Cambridge and serves the government for a period of 5 years. If X fails to return to India, he will have to reimburse the government. It is a contract of indemnity. So what happens? There is a contract that is between the government, and there is a contract between whom and whom. There is a contract between the government, and there's a contract between whom, say, take our B. Okay, B is a very thing. So okay, so there's a contract between the government and Mr. X over here. They've given an example of X. Okay, so there's a government, there is a X. Okay, but there's a contract between both of them. What is a contract? They're saying that the government they insist that after studying after this particular rich guy who goes to Cambridge and studies, after you study there you have to come back and serve our country, you should definitely work for the government. Okay, so if in case X doesn't even come back and doesn't even like help us out, like indemnify the government, then in such a case this particular contract of indemnity is totally redundant. Okay, okay, redundant. I think it has been understood. Okay, okay, the next thing we'll be seeing is, so next thing that we're going to be seeing is about the parties. How many parties are there? Okay, how many parties are there? How many parties? There are two different types of parties we saw, right? Mr. A, Mr. B, A, B. Okay, so there are two parties to the contract. Okay, so in the case of contract of indemnity, there are only two parties. First is the indemnifier, and B is the indemnified. Okay, A is indemnifier and the B is indemnified. Okay, This is something very important. So A is indemnifier and B is indemnified. Okay. So the what is an indemnifier? Indemnifier is a person who promises to indemnify or save the other person from the loss that is being caused. Who has promised? So indemnified is a person who has promised to be saved against the loss. Okay, saved against the loss. That is, if the tree falls on my house, if the tree falls on Mr. B's house, then what happens? Then what happens? Then in such a case, A will indemnify B. A will indemnify B. A will give money to B and say, you fix your roof, you fix everything, whatever damages have occurred, I will save you, like that. This is a very ideal example. Okay, so let's read the text as well, very important. Okay, so the text clearly states that the party who promises to indemnify or save the other from the loss that is being caused by the indemnifier, or the party who promises to save another against the loss of an indemnified, or the indemnified holder. Okay, so who's called as the indemnified holder, guys? Who's called as the indemnified holder? The indemnified is called as the indemnified holder. Okay, very important point. Okay, who is the indemnity holder? The indemnified is the indemnity holder. Who is the indemnity holder? The indemnified is the indemnity holder. It's a 1 mark question, definitely remember. Okay, very important. Okay, I think it's done. Okay, the next thing, let's continue. So example is A might conduct A may contract to indemnify B against the consequences of any proceedings which C may take against B. Okay, A may contract to indemnify B against any consequences of any proceedings which C may take against B in respect of a sum of 5,000 rupees advanced by C to B. Okay, so there's a big story that is going on. Let's see, let's write it down. There is A, there is B, there is C. There are three different type of people. So A may contract to indemnify B. So A is going to indemnify B. Okay, A is going to indemnify B for what? So the consequences of any proceedings which C may take against B. C might take any proceedings against B. Okay, uh, against the sum of 5,000 rupees advanced by C to B. Okay, C has given B pavam 5,000 rupees. He has given poor guy. He has given 5,000 rupees to B. Okay, C has given 5,000 rupees to B, and B, Ushara, what he has done is he has put a contract of indemnity with A. Okay, so let's see what happens in the rest of the story. Yeah. So what happens here, in the consequences of B, who is called upon to pay the sum of money to C, fails to do so. B is not even paying the amount of 5,000. So C would be able to recover the amount from A as provided under section 124. This is a contract of indemnity. Okay. Then the next one is Mr. X is a shareholder of a company. Okay, shareholder of a company lost his share certificate. Adapavi, he lost a share certificate, it seems. Okay, so he applied for a duplicate one. Okay, he applied for a duplicate one, it seems. So the company agreed to issue the same on term that X will compensate the company against a loss. Okay, so the company has agreed to issue the same on the terms that X will compensate the company against a loss where any holder produces the original certificate. Okay, say for example, today you are the shareholder of Reliance Limited. You have got a share certificate. You are going on the main road, Nungambakam road. You're going, walking and going. Suddenly you lost that on the road. Okay, so what happens? You are making a duplicate certificate and you are keeping that. Okay, after which you're going to the company. Okay, and you are asking the company like sir, please pay me the dividend, like that. And the company says that wait, you have already lost your certificate, and despite that you've also made a duplicate certificate as well. So if in case some other person, your friend or somebody else or somebody on the road finds your share certificate, and if in case they're going to produce the original certificate, the loss that the company is going to be facing, that particular loss you have to indemnify. Okay, that particular loss